next part, questions 5 through 10. Okay, so it says a farm wants to test 2 different diets for their cows to see which diet causes more weight gain. Alright, so first off, are we dealing with a quantitative or a categorical variable? We're looking for weight gain. Well, let's keep reading, okay? They randomly select 10 cows to give diet 1, 12 cows for diet 2. After 2 weeks on diet 1, the 10 cows gained an average of 15.2 pounds with a standard deviation of 4.1 pounds. After 2 weeks on diet 2, the 12 cows gained an average of 12.6 pounds with a standard deviation of 3.4 pounds. The following questions refer to a 95% confidence interval for the difference in average weight gain. Okay, so are we dealing with means or proportions? Means, okay, so we're dealing with means. Alright, and this is, again, questions 5 through 10 on the practice final. And it says to make a 95% confidence interval. Alright, so we're dealing with means. And do we have 1 sample or 2 samples? We got 2 samples, okay? Alright, and if you look at your study guide, everything is laid out, okay? For questions about confidence intervals, you should be able to answer the following questions. Okay. So the first one says, for a 95% confidence interval, what will be the center of the interval? Okay. So for 2 samples means, it says for 2 sample means, it's the difference between the sample means. So question 5, what's the center? It's the difference in sample means. So that's going to be x1 bar minus x2 bar, which in this case, average 15.2 pounds minus the average of the other diet, 12.6. Okay, so we're going to get a difference of 2.6 pounds. This is your center of the interval. Okay, this is the part that goes before the plus or minus. All right. Number 6, 95% confidence interval, what will you use for T star? Okay, so for T star, we got to figure out the degrees of freedom. So our degrees of freedom is going to be n minus 1. All right, so this is, again, just following on the study guide, the next part. What's the degrees of freedom? For 2 samples, it's going to be n minus 1, and you use the n of the smaller sample, okay? So one sample had 10 cows, and the other sample had 12. So the smaller one had 10. So we're going to do 10 minus 1. That means our degrees of freedom is equal to 9. Okay. At this point, we go to our T table, and we're going to look up 9 degrees of freedom, 95% confidence. The answer is 2.262. So T star, 2.262. Questions? You have a look of confusion.
Yeah, how did that work?
How did I what?
Don't we have to find something before we look at?
Not for confidence interval.
Okay, yeah,
All we got to do
sorry.
is figure out our degrees of freedom, and we're going to look up that many degrees of freedom for 95% confidence. Okay. Number 7, what's the value of the standard error? Okay. So standard error, and you can check along your study guide for 2 sample means, confidence intervals, standard error. Square root of s1 squared over n1, s2 squared over n2. Alright, so in this case, I've got for diet 1, my s1 is 4.1. I'm going to square that, divide by n1, which says I have 10 cows in diet 1. And then diet 2, the standard deviation is 3.4 pounds. And N2 is 12. At this point, I'm going to just punch this into the calculator.
It's 1.626.
1.626. Okay, great. Okay, and again, yeah, make sure when you punch this into your calculator, you can get this answer. All right.
How do you do it once, like on a calculator?
How do I do what?
you want to do it all together, can you do that?
So yeah, you do everything on the inside. You're gonna hit 4.1, and then I don't know if you have a square button on your calculator. But you might have a square button, and then so you're gonna do 4.1 square, and then divide by 10 plus 3.4 square button divide by 12. Hit enter, and then hit square root button, answer button. Okay, make sure.
We leave that up to the final? Just kidding.
So I will. Well, it's gonna be different based on your calculator, okay? But
Yeah, you should leave it up. I agree.
well, if we'll put it on your note card, all right? What buttons do I need to push to get this, all right? If you're having trouble with your calculator, say this is these are the buttons I need to push. Okay? And then you could have reference things. You could say, make sure you're doing it right. Make sure if you're going to do this, you get that. Okay? And if you can do that, then okay. So create a 95% confidence interval. Okay? So now we're just putting all the pieces together. The center is 2.6. Now we're going to go plus or minus our t star, 2.262 times our standard error, 1.626. This can be 2.6 plus or minus 2.262 times 1.626. That's going to be a big number. So I get 2.6 plus or minus 3.678. Okay. So on the low and on the high.
1.09. For the low.
Oh, what's that? I get negative 1.078. Okay, and on the high end, I get 6.27. Okay. Now, if you round off a couple decimals, that's okay. On the answer key, all right, or in the multiple choice, only certain answers will be listed. Okay, and it's not going to be like this versus 1.079. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Okay, it's going to be like. Maybe this will be an answer choice, negative 1.078, and it will another one will be like negative 1.3 versus something else. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it'll be there will be different answers that the rounding shouldn't affect. Okay. Alright, and 9, it says, based on your 95% confidence interval, do you conclude that there's a difference in average weight gain? Okay, the answer is no. 0 is contained in the interval. So we do not have evidence of a difference in weight gain. Okay. And then 10, if you made a 90% confidence interval, how would it compare to the 95% confidence interval? Alright, a 90% confidence interval will be narrower than a 95% confidence interval. 5 through 10. Okay, and again, all of these steps, they're kind of detailed out in the study guide as well. Alright, so
Number 10, how would that be a multiple choice question? Like what would you?
I will have answer choices like a 90% confidence interval will be wider than a 95% confidence interval. A 90% confidence interval will be the same, or you cannot tell from the data alone or something. Yeah, I lost my remote control.
Your pocket?
Oh, it's in my pocket. Okay.